Good morning, everyone. Jim Clark here at the Synchronicity Sanctuary in Central Virginia to share a contemplative focus with you today. A contemplation that we were given by our teacher, Master Charles Cannon, in the processes that we went through here in a lifestyle of meditation and developing balance within the human form. So, the title for today is Reality or Illusion? Understanding Existence. Reality is what truly exists. Illusion is what only seems real. The one, the ultimate source, can never stop being itself. This means the one is both real and not real simultaneously. It contains both truth and illusion. So, this is the context and the understanding and meditation traditions throughout history, and it's born out of human experience, not human belief. It's born out of the capacity for a human being to actually experience the oneness of all and everything. And when that happens, even for just one moment, a person's life is forever changed. Huh? And I can speak from that because I have had that experience myself. And so the game that source consciousness is playing is one that was created out of a desire to fully experience itself. Since without polarities, without the illusion of a polarized existence, experience doesn't happen. It has to have a positive and a negative. Whereas in oneness, there's oneness, and that's it. And we don't know what that's like until we have that experience. But like I say, one moment, you're forever changed. So, so we are in a game, what our teacher called the creation game, a game designed by consciousness to fully experience itself. So in this game, it always begins with the beginning of not knowing itself, and it fully experiences itself as a form, a human form in our case, of what it is not. And people, when they come into manifestation in this game, journey that reality until they're fulfilled in it. And once you're fulfilled in being what you're not, then the polarities shift in your experience and you start to journey towards the realization of what you are. It's and this is how he explained to us uh, what the human experience is really all about. And so, holistic experience, which you gain from meditation, because meditation is simply a balancing technique, it's not a belief system. And in that, what you're doing is you're taking your focus from the external world around you, which you see as separate from yourself, and you're focusing internally to the subjective polarity of your human experience. And in this practice, you're developing more and more power on the positive polarity of this creation game. And so you're moving farther and farther away from the mechanics of separation, which is you over there and me over here, into the oneness of your own being. Huh? And when you get this fully operational, when you put enough emphasis and manifest this with consistency, where the positive polarity is dominant in yourself, it's in this set of circumstances that you can experience a breakthrough and have the experience of being the consciousness that is all and everything. And so it's a life-changing, to say the least, experience that people have, and there's no way to ever describe it. It's far beyond anything that's conceptual, and yet it's from my experience, it's the best experience anyone can ever have. And so this is what this is all about: reality or illusion, understanding existence. The typical understanding that people have when they're still involved with being a separate human being and they haven't had that breakthrough experience yet is that there's good and evil. The religious history of this world that is born out of concept, not experience. It says that there's a God and there's a devil and blah, 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 which are just representative of the positive and negative polarities in truth. And they're not against one another. They're simultaneous to each other, and one could not exist without the other. And so that play goes on because it is intended to go on for those who are journeying the journey of illusion. And for those who are ready to go beyond illusion, meditation and teachers of meditation come into your life. This is when that first shows up for you. And you begin the journey of creating of meditation and balance, creating that balance in yourself. And this is lifetimes of experience we're talking about here. So it's not something that plays out in one individual lifetime. This goes on for, I don't know how long, but a long time. And consciousness continually creates itself and diversifies itself, as we see in the planet Earth today. It is so diversified with billions and billions of individual forms of itself playing this game. And it gets more and more intense as it continues to evolve and create itself as individual human beings in our case, until it reaches a maximum where the polarity of illusion becomes extreme. And when any polarity gets too extreme, it automatically shifts towards its opposite. So, and this is what's happening in our planet today. It's gotten to be so full of the negative polarity. It's so strong in our world today, and I think you can kind of see that that it's building itself up to that point where a transition can happen. Because in truth, that's all that exists here. Everything is the same source consciousness. Whether it's an illusory experience or whether it's a real, truthful experience, it's born of the same source, because that same source can only ever be what it is. And it seems so simple to sit here and speak about this for me, because I've spent so many years in meditation and holistic lifestyle and with a very profound, powerful teacher. So I've come to understand these things as a matter of fact for me, but for most of the world this is not. And it took me years before I started to comprehend from my own experience and relate the teaching to my own experience. So it was a slow process, but so worthwhile. And to understand that reality and illusion are components of the creation game, this game that we're in, was a great gift, and one that I will forever appreciate, having been given that understanding. So reality and illusion are not in opposition to one another. They appear to be in opposition conceptually, but concept is from the mind, and the mind is an illusion generating machine. That's what it's for. It's there to help generate the illusion of separation in all its different ways. Separation, you're over there, I'm here. Separation in terms of we don't agree on conceptual concepts that we hold on to and maybe even identify with, and so forth and so on. But in the process of meditation, you start to see where your beliefs and where your identifications come from And then you start to see beyond that, and little by little you let go of these things so that you can go deeper and deeper into the truth of who you are. And as this process continues, eventually you reach a point where you're free enough from the concepts that you were holding on to in the beginning of your life here. And then you go even deeper into your unconscious, subconscious, and so forth in past lifetimes. And as you clean out, get rid of these concepts that you still have some remnants of identification with, your ability to go beyond concept and to experience the truth of one source consciousness gets greater and greater and greater. And at some point, it just happens. The momentum of your own evolutionary process reaches a point where something can trigger the experience of oneness that validates and forever stamps the truth of itself within your own experience. So that's it. And that's what we're all doing here on the planet today. It doesn't look like it. It never does. It's not supposed to look like it. All the upheaval, all the changes, all the threats, if you will, that people perceive and experience from a perceptual point of view on the planet today, and they try to work out how to live peacefully. But to live peacefully with all that differentiation, all those different concepts that are floating around and people are still identified with, is really not possible unless something can take its place, which we call love. Because the experience of the oneness of who you really are is love. That's what we call love. And when you have that experience, you understand what love is and how powerful it is. And so this is really where the planet as a whole is headed for. It goes through this process for who knows how long, and then it gradually brings itself to a point of extreme negative polarity, where the differences and the experience of being separate and different and the fear that comes from that reaches a very, very maximized power. And once it does that, then it shifts. It's just the way that consciousness has created the creation game, so that it can grow individual forms of itself separately. You and I are probably not in the same, our feet are not in the same place to say along this process. There's a ongoing process for all human beings, and where they are in it, they are. And they will gradually illume when it's time for them to illume, and that's the way it is. It's not that they're better or worse. There's no judgment about it. It's the process of source consciousness playing the game to fully experience itself, and that's all it's really about. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. It's not as exciting as the media would like to have things put forth, but then they're part of the illusion, and so it's perfectly all right. It's what they're supposed to. They're here because they're supposed to be here, just like you're here and I'm here, and that's all there is to it. So holistic experience as unified consciousness, it is the oneness of all and everything. And one of the teachings that Master Charles gave us over and over again, he said, no matter what the problem, love is the answer. And that's the truest, that's a very true statement, and one that I still hold dearly within myself. So that's it for today. I'll probably have another live stream to share next Monday, and I think after that it'll be a while because we have several programs coming up, and there won't be much time for me to do this till probably after March. So maybe next Monday we'll probably have another one, but that's as far as I can predict in the future at this point in time. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you got something out of it that's of value to you, and I will see you next week with another contemplation to share with you. Thank you so much.